Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man, and today we're going to tackle trying to take this front axle, which is a ZF axle, apart on the 9650 so that we can figure out what we need and get the parts ordered and hopefully get this back into service, because it has an excellent air conditioner and we don't want to miss out on that when the weather gets hotter. So let's get started. The nice thing about this being a German axle is that everything is metric. So whatever the metric size is, it works out to 1 3/16. So that's what we're going to use. I got them pre-broken loose with a end of pipe. And it's very important to make sure these are tight, because that is why this tractor has a different front wheel. When I worked at the dealership, the guy who owned it brought it in and the whole front wheel was wore out. All the bolts had been coming loose and he just kept driving it till this was all junk. So this side has a brand new wheel and tire. So we want to make sure when we put it back together that we get it plenty tight. But let's get going and see if we can get the wheel and tire off, and then we'll attempt to see if there's anything left in here. We'll just open the drain plug into a bucket, and I think it's pretty well empty. The book says that I'll have to have a puller to get this off, and I don't remember that part. But I do know that I think everything will stay with the cover, and I can just take it off as an assembly and then get to where I need to be. So it shouldn't be a whole slew of pieces. Like I know we worked on an international one time, and you had to take every gear out and all the little rollers out of it that was the bearing, and you had to kind of build it back as you went. And I'm hoping that this will not be that way, just to change this seal. So let's get started. Probably would be nice to use the impact too, but nah, we'll just go with this Amish style. It's Sunday, so they'd probably like that. Oh, okay, let's get the pipe back out. Apparently we didn't get it enough on that one. Sure. Another interesting thing to note on these front axles on these tractors, which is not true about all front wheel assist tractors, but it is on this one. Whenever you do not have hydraulic pressure to the clutch on this axle, it is locked in four-wheel drive. So right now sitting, I can't roll this axle because it's in four-wheel drive. It uses hydraulic pressure to disengage the clutch, and it does that with an electric solenoid, and there's a switch on the armrest that does that. This particular tractor, the clutch is leaking and it's capped off, so it's in four-wheel drive all the time. So I try not to take it down the road too much. I need to work on that too, and was hoping to get to that this winter, but I got so wrapped up with that Power Beyond and that planter, which I'm still not done with the planter, so it kind of got tabled. So you will get to see more videos of this axle in the future. So if you just can't contain yourself how much you're enjoying this, then prepare yourselves, because you'll get to see more of it. What thrilling footage. A guy unscrewing a nut off of a wheel. Wow. Oscar winning. One thing I really want to invest in, and I haven't done it yet, is I want to get a 1/2-inch cordless impact. I kind of shied away from them for years because I didn't think that a battery-powered impact would be that great, but after owning the smaller one and seeing what they're capable of that way, I think I'm ready to get one. I actually ordered one a couple years ago around Christmas time, and it turned out to be a sham. It was a phony, like, I don't know what you call it, but the thing never arrived, and I bought it off eBay. It was supposed to be brand new, but it turned out to be a scam, so I didn't have to pay, but that was also my last adventure with a 1/2-inch cordless impact. But right now, I really wish I had it. Even if it was Chinesium. It was actually a DeWalt, but the guy selling it must have been Chinesium, because he disappeared as soon as I filed a claim. Interesting enough, another thing to note, I guess, is if you watched Chris Losey's video when he was putting those soft plugs in Herman, this isn't made that way, and it's just cast iron, so who knows why they went to the trouble to even put the divots in there. I really don't know that. We'll see when we look at the backside, maybe. Why couldn't you have just had a flat tire like a normal tractor? Why did you have to break something that cost many hundreds of dollars? Well, I tell you. Last one. Now we'll get to see how heavy it is. We'll get to see if I can throw it on myself and cause my death on camera. Come on. There, get that ring off. Maybe. There we go. Let's hang that somewhere where we forget about it till later. Come on. What you want to do is stand right in front of it, so if it falls over on you, it will crush you instantly. This really shouldn't be that heavy, but I don't think it's on the ground. Maybe it's... There. No? I thought we were getting somewhere. We're not. What the heck? Let's try going higher. Come on, Pittsburgh Jack, do your stuff. There, that's what it needed. Do we go in or out? Let's go out. We don't need the tire in here. We'll store it in the sun where it'll break down faster. Sure, that works. Oh, what fun this will be. Now, there's supposed to be 2 screws that hold the 2 halves together. And there they are. What are the chances that those will come out easy? Okay, now the question remains, what size is it? And the other question remains, will they come loose? That seems like that's the size. That's a Cornwell 3/8. It's also 3/8 drive, so we got to get a 3/8 drive ratchet or something, and we'll see if we can get that loose. I don't know. Okay, will this be enough tool, or do I need to go get Long John? Hey, all right. That must mean that the inside is in terrible shape. As easy as that came loose. We're in for something terrible, I'm sure, because I was expecting to have to heat that. Then we follow suit on the bottom one. I can't even see what we're doing. Nope. There's the one that's gonna fight us. Yep. Rounded her off. I knew it. I knew one would do that. Oh, fun. Well, if you haven't guessed, the torch is coming out now, so I'll go get that and see what we can accomplish. It's also nice that it's on the underneath, so that's real handy too, you know. Here we go. Well, we've got an oil-soaked floor. We've got cans of gasoline on the other side. We've got Chinesium jack holding up thousands of pounds worth of stuff. Let's increase the safety by adding open flame. I think that was what we need. There we go. That really hurt. Slinging off little chunks of oil or something. Let's see if that's enough. I don't know that it is, but and of course this isn't going to grab at all. Wonder if I can hammer the next size in. I was bound and determined to make these metric fittings take American size fasteners. That's not going to do it. Let's go find an easy out or something. I've got some shorter style. That might be what it takes. Let's try these. No. This one. Come on, baby. Let's see if that one will go in. It's actually metric. And it's American made. And I think if we bring the Oz's, it's gonna go. Oh, I should have kept it the way I had it. Ah! I can see the backside. Why won't you play nice? I think I'm probably going to have to heat it again until it and I come to an understanding that it is coming out of there. It's not even optional at this point. I'm not going to quit till the backside's flowing. I don't want to do that. That would be stupid because it's covered with oil back there. Ah! Oh, you stupid thing. I hate Allen-headed bolts, if you haven't gathered that yet. I don't understand why people think they're so great. It would have been just as easy to not do it this way. Now that's burning hot, idiot, so do not grab a hold of it. Lay it aside on something flammable like that wooden block. Okay. Now, we're going to have to pry this apart. And the stud should stay with the back half, so it shouldn't fall off right away. However, you never know what's going to take place. But I'm going to put the torch away, and then I may try to crack this loose. Since we had such great luck with everything else, let's just continue that theme and round this off. You know, that's the one. Let's just, for kicks, let's just see if that'll come loose easy. It seems like that's not the right size, but there we go. I think that's my treble here. There. I think I'm using Americanized things in a German axle. A German using American tools on a German axle isn't the right combination. Let's take this out and see if anything comes out. Well, that's promising to know. At least it wasn't totally dry. So I might have quit in time where I didn't totally destroy my whole life. So that's good. Not a whole lot coming out, but some oil's better than no oil. Okay, so it's got little cutouts in it for you to drive the chisel into. So I suppose we'll give that a go, see if it pops loose. And it looks like it's trying to play. Let's go find the other one. I think there's just two on opposite sides, but okay. Well, if a little hammering is good, a lot of hammering is greater, right? It seems awfully crooked. Maybe I need to just now drive on the opposite corners. There's really nothing else that should be holding it. Maybe it's just rust. I really don't want to do that. I'm wondering if maybe some lubing would be better. I think that's what I need to do. Maybe some quick lube work, a little brushing. That might make this go better. Let's just give it a little bit of a douching of this. Perhaps it will help us, perhaps not. I don't have anywhere to set the camera. Let's set it over here. Can you see there? Sure. Well, let's try this again. See if we can get more. Let's get another chisel for the opposite side. There we go. Just had to get more even. Let's add a third one. Let's see how many chisels we could stick in here. That would be fun, right? I think it's good now. Let's see. Yeah, that'll come off. Now, scoot my bucket back so it actually does something. I'm going to take the cherry picker and bolt something through this hole to help catch it, because I have a feeling that this is probably slightly heavy. And whilst I am a large person, I still think it would be better to have something else do the lifting other than my back. And we get to play another fun game. I loaned out this cherry picker, and this is the first time I'm using it since it came back. So we're also going to play Does It Still Work? So we'll give it a try. It looks like it will. A $50 yard sale cherry picker with a Chinesium Hobo Freight lift cylinder. Sure, it's gonna work. Now the trick's gonna be, my little chain is missing that I always kept on this thing. And I wonder what I can use in its place. Nylon rope? Probably not. Although it probably would work. How about a 5/16 bolt and 2 flat washers? That will work. Safety first. Now, let's get that where it doesn't have a whole lot of slack in it. And then we'll keep on sliding. Here we go. See if we can back up here. Let that drip into that bucket. Okay, so we'll take the tour here. I guess I should show you the cover first. There's your 3 gears in there, complete with German bearings. And in here, this carrier gear, or whatever you want to call it. My brain is not registering. I'm trying to think of what it all said in the book. I should probably get the book. But it said something about making sure that you register the relationship of this gear to the housing. Make a reference mark. I don't really understand what that would have to do with anything, but I would think more you would want to reference where this nut was in relationship to, you know, how tight it was, is what I'm getting at. But we can put some punch marks in it or something to tell us where everything was. I don't have a problem with that. We need to know where our lock was. Luckily though, with video, we have all that information to look back on. Okay. So I made some little punch marks here and there and yonder, just, I guess, for fun. Just to make sure that I can reference where stuff was. These little bolts here that hold this retainer were definitely Guten tight. So old Hans, the ZF axle mechanic, he must be really butch, because that really was quite the snap to get them broke loose. Now we got to get this loose, and I do not think I have a spanner nut wrench that's that big. So what does one do? Do I dare try to use a punch? I don't know about that. I might do some calling and see if I can find one first. before I just go crazy, but I don't know. Okay, so next day I went ahead and borrowed an adjustable spinner nut wrench, assuming that this would be just absolutely ridiculously tight like everything else has been. However, it did not take much effort with the tool to get this loose. So I hope that's a good thing. I didn't have to beat on it. I did put a reference mark, like I said earlier, on some different pieces. So hopefully we can put it back like it's supposed to be. I've also determined, after talking to a bunch of people, that I may be one of the few people that's been into one of these, because nobody seems to ever have trouble with a ZF axle. So I guess that's good and bad. I suppose what the book was talking about, and I need to put that in here, the book said something about making sure to put a witness mark, and I took it as the relationship of this drum to the splines on this shaft. And I don't really understand why, because I don't see how that would affect anything. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it has to affect where you would get the nut, and having the holes for the lock plate maybe is the reason. I'm not really sure, but I'm going to go ahead and put a corresponding mark onto here so that I know for sure that I'm in the right place. I really, like I said, the book doesn't explain it more than that, and I really don't understand why. So, but it says to do that, so we'll make sure we put it together exactly like we took it apart. So that's what we'll do here. I think I'll actually go here and here. But this gear is so hard, I don't think I'll be able to even make a dent in it. Let's see how this pulls off. Okay, that pulls off easy. Now we'll find a place to put this where it's not going to get totally covered with garbage. And it says now, it says to use a gear puller to get the hub off of here. So I'm wondering how tight a fit these bearings have. The book says when you put it back together, you're supposed to heat up the inner bearing to 240 degrees and then put it in, put your seal in, your wear ring or whatever they call that thing, and then put it on using a brass punch and hammer. So I'm wondering how tight a fit these bearings have on this shaft, but as precision as everything has been, I can only imagine that it's fairly tight. And I don't know, I'm not real sure what I'm going to do here as far as setting up a puller. It's going to have to be a pretty good size one, which I've got a fairly good size proto puller, but it still may not be big enough for this. So I'm going to have to do some looking and figure out what the best course of action is. I might have to build a puller. I mean, I've done that before, so we'll see what we come up with on this. Oh, that wasn't on there tight at all. Well, I don't know if I had the camera pointed right. If I do, I'll probably put that footage in, but I just gave it a good yank and it came off a lot easier than I thought it was going to. And I got it off, but I lost one bearing in the dirt, which I did not want to do. I was hoping to, I didn't think it was going to move and it's slung out. But you can see here our issue. Ooh, our seal is chewed up. There's remnants of seal in here. This, I guess, is that Teflon-y wear ring, and it has just been mangled beyond belief. And looking at this, I'm not even sure, why do you have to pull the... It looks like the sealing surface is taller than the bearing, unless I'm missing something. I'm not entirely sure why it says that you would destroy the seal pulling it off of here, because it looks to me like your sealing surface is higher up. Well, I'm definitely going to call the ZF place and see what I've got to do. But check out that mangling. It got the spring off of there, and let's get it all in the bearing. That's what we want, right? That bearing. You know, what do we do? Is that bearing wore out? Is that the way they are? I think that's the way they are. According to the other one, it is. I'm willing to try it again now that I see what's going on here. But I'm really puzzled at this because it doesn't quite look to me like in the book. I mean, so I'm gonna have to call that place and see, maybe there was a serial number break or something, and the service book for AGCO doesn't show it that way. But I don't see why I would have to have that out. I might be wrong, but I sure don't see it. That is crazy that it was able to do that. I mean, it had to have done that ahead of time. It can't have just done that in one afternoon, can it? But the good thing is it looks like this surface is still good, which I was worried about, because this is like $300, this sealing surface ring. So I think this is probably a good stopping point. We can take a look at the seal over here just so people can see what that looks like. But maybe the seal does go lower than the bearing. I don't know. I'm gonna call and find out. But it looks promising. And if I was able to pull the bearing off that easy, maybe this is a doable adventure. Boy, that bearing looks, I question that, you know. I think once it would be squeezed tight, it would be fine. Well, I'll do some more research and then we'll make a part 2, I guess, of reassembly. So if you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.